So UFC 288 finished, and it was a weird one. It was the type of card that makes me not want to watch UFC. Kind of like the Paddy Pimblett fight where totally and utterly lost that fight and the judges went the opposite way. It's infuriating, it's hard to deal with. In this case, after the weekend, we had so much weird kind of news surrounding this entire card. Gilbert Burns is calling the fans racist for not loving the most boring fighter on the roster, and I have no qualms about saying that. Belal Muhammad is boring as hell, and that fight was an embarrassment. We have Jon Anik, who seems to be a legitimate cock, turning around saying there was no loser here, this was a win-win situation. We have Colby Covington calling this fight out for what I actually think is correct and saying that it was a nothing burger. It was pointless. There was no reason to make it. It was literally to fill a space that was on the card because, as he said, Leon doesn't want to fight until the end of the year maybe, which means if one of these two guys, which is Belal Muhammad, is going to get the next title shot after Colby, because we know that Colby's getting it. Dana keeps reiterating it over and over again, even though the media and the fans don't want to accept it. That's what's happening. Colby's getting the next fight, possibly October, November, and Belal will have to wait until 6 months after that, maybe, depending on how the outcome goes. So you're saying someone of a small star power like Belal Muhammad can sit on the shelf for a year and a half, we'll say, without being active, without having a personality, without being a good fighter, and think that he has warranted a title shot off of this after fighting Gilbert Burns one arm for like 4.5 minutes and couldn't finish him? An absolute bore fest. The decisions from the judges was absolutely abysmal. The commentary, holy shit, what was going on with the biased commentary? Daniel Cormier, Jon Anik and Joe Rogan, disappointed and disgusted with them. And it's not like it just happened this weekend. I've been disappointed with them for a long time now. So there's so much to unpack with this whole 288 card. I'm not going to do breakdowns in each individual fight because that's kind of not what I do. I point out the absolute and utter hypocrisy from the judges, from the fighters and from the commentators. That's what I try to do. So the takeaway for me is that Belal Muhammad is probably one of the most overrated guys in this division, and it's probably because the division is quite weak in and of itself. In the aftermath of the terrible display, he was booed the other night. He was booed, and you know what, if you go back through his fights, he gets booed a lot because of his style. He's quite boring, his personality is trash, his shit talk is absolutely trash, and he's racist. And we saw that just a few weeks ago where he overtly showed extreme racism towards Colby Covington for being white, and we know that anti-white rhetoric is rampant in modern society, so it was allowed and nobody questioned it, nobody spoke about it. Not one mainstream or media shill came out and said, hey, do you not think that that was inappropriate to say that this person got a shot because of the color of their skin? If it was worded like that, it could have made it onto the front of many newspapers because people would have been suckered into thinking that it was a black person, because that's the only way racism goes, right? But it was towards a white person and it was swept under the rug. So we know that Belal's a racist, we know he's boring, and we know he's overhyped. So in the aftermath of the fight, when questioned, Gilbert Burns' response to why people and fans just don't like Belal Muhammad, why do you think that he was booed? He responded with this:
they don't give him the kind of the love that he deserves. I don't know why. People might be a little racist, I believe.
Now, I don't want to be too hard on Gilbert because I actually like him, but this was a very low IQ statement, and a lot of people will make the same statement because that's just where we are in 2023. Low IQs are rampant, and everything is made about race. As we can see, everything is about race now. It's a fancy word and it only goes one way. So that's why Gilbert thinks that he was booed. You jump over to Jon Anik and he's kind of shilling for the whole thing. We know he has a relationship with Belal Muhammad, and he's saying that I don't know if the loser actually loses much in the outcome of this match. Going back to what Colby said, the loser of this fight, which was Gilbert Burns, he's going to be out for a year with an injury. We don't know where he goes in terms of his record and in this division. It's kind of 50-50 what happens with him. Belal Muhammad will get a title shot. He won't win it. He won't beat Leon and he won't beat Colby. So whatever happens there, he's not beating any of them guys. And even if he does, how disastrous would that be for a division and for the organization as a whole? Because I've heard people like Dominic Cruz saying if Henry Cejudo had won the fight against Aljamain Sterling, that would have been disastrous for the division. Well, if Belal Muhammad wins any sort of belt, that will be disastrous for the entire roster and the organization as a whole, because the dude just doesn't have it. And across the board, there was absolutely atrocious decisions being made by the judging panel. Phenomenally bad. I think the Aljo and Henry Cejudo fight was pretty thereabouts. But if you were to listen to the commentators, which you're probably better off muting the fucking thing, if you were to listen to Daniel Cormier, who's extremely biased all the time towards towards black fighters. 100%. It's always my boy, my champion, my this, my that. It's like, dude, give it a fucking break. It's intolerable to listen to. So he, of course, was dick riding Aljamain Sterling. And if you were listening to the commentary, or if you were listening to the aftermath analysis, you would actually think that Aljamain Sterling ran over Henry Cejudo like he was a novice and like he wasn't even there. It was absolutely pathetic. And even the likes of Josh Thompson called him out in it. Josh Thompson, of course, is going to call out UFC shills because he's got a bone to pick with the UFC. He says that, I got a little mad at some of the commentary during the UFC main event. That bothered me. He goes on here to say that Cejudo didn't do anything wrong. He didn't make mistakes. I was getting a little mad at the commentary because he kept saying like, oh, the leg kick's having an effect. He didn't switch his stances. He wasn't flinching. He wasn't hobbling. He wasn't limping. What are you actually talking about? If I'm the commentator, I need to be saying both these guys need to show themselves what it's all about and what they need to do to win the rounds. Basically, let me translate that whole entire jargon there for you, because again, these guys will touch it. They will scratch the surface, but they won't go all in. Daniel Cormier and Jon Anik were making it sound like Aljamain was beating the shit out of Henry Cejudo. That's basically it. And if you jump back to the prelims where there was a bout between Chaos Williams and Ronaldo Bedoya, Bedoya won that fight. They went to the judges' scorecards and Chaos got the nod, he got the hand raised, and Daniel Cormier and Jon Anik were creaming themselves at the idea of him winning this fight. This guy showed real grit, this guy showed what he's made of, oh my god. Have a look at the ethnicities of these fighters and tell me why they were so biased to Chaos Williams. It's absolutely pathetic, overt and obvious at this stage. So to wrap up UFC 288, the best you can say that this was subversion of the mind and gaslighting, because we have Belal Muhammad, the most boring fighter on the roster, winning, getting booed, and then we are told by commentators and his own opponent that we are racist for booing. This comes 2 weeks after he racially attacks a white fighter and nobody speaks about it. We have the judges and the commentators fawning all over certain demographics within the UFC roster, and it's overt now. People are literally too frightened to say it in these terms, but the likes of Josh Thompson is saying it and other people are saying it too. So that's where we are with UFC 288. That's where we are going forward. Someone's got to call it out. Might as well be me.